and the company told Stephanie Gosk it could be available as early as next year.
You've probably heard about Ozempic by now. It started as a diabetes drug, then became a weight loss miracle, and now it's everywhere. The other day I went to lunch with a friend and she barely touched her food. "I'm so nauseous," she said. "I'm on Ozempic." That's when it hit me. This isn't just a trend anymore. From everyday people to Hollywood's biggest stars, something has clearly changed. So the question is, what went wrong? Ariana Grande's recent appearance sparked a level of concern that went far beyond ordinary celebrity commentary because the change looked too dramatic to dismiss. Ariana has lived under a microscope for years, with every shift in her style, body, and expression becoming public conversation almost instantly. But during the latest wave of red carpet appearances, many fans felt they were seeing something more unsettling than a simple aesthetic change. Photos from major events showed a noticeably thinner Ariana, with hollowed cheeks, sharper collarbones, and a frame that looked far more fragile than people were used to seeing. The reaction online was immediate. What began as observation quickly turned into worry, with many asking the same question: how much of this is personal choice, and how much of it reflects the impossible standards placed on women in entertainment? What makes Ariana's situation especially complicated is that she has spoken before about public scrutiny surrounding her body. She has made it clear that people do not know what someone is living through behind the scenes, and that reminder matters. But the images still triggered concern because in Hollywood, appearance never exists in isolation. It is tied to pressure, work, expectation, and relentless judgment. Whether Ariana's transformation is the result of stress, a demanding schedule, personal struggles, or something else entirely, the public response reveals a deeper discomfort. People are not simply reacting to a thinner celebrity, they are reacting to the feeling that even someone as successful and admired as Ariana Grande is not protected from the machinery that rewards women for becoming smaller, quieter, and more controlled under the spotlight for survival there. Claudia Oshry, better known as Girl with No Job, became one of the few public figures willing to speak openly about what so many others tried to hide. In a celebrity culture built on denial, vague answers, and carefully managed appearances, Claudia took a different approach. She admitted she was using Ozempic and made it clear she had no interest in pretending her transformation happened by accident. Over the course of about a year, Claudia reportedly lost around 70 pounds. The change was immediate, dramatic, and impossible to ignore. Her face appeared noticeably slimmer, her jawline looked sharper, and side-by-side photos showed just how quickly her overall appearance had changed. It was the kind of transformation that instantly fuels headlines, online speculation, and endless conversation. But what made Claudia's story stand out was not just the weight loss. It was the honesty about what came with it. While many public figures only show the polished result, Claudia also discussed the uncomfortable side effects. One of the most alarming was hair loss, a detail that added a much darker layer to the story and exposed the physical price that can come with rapid change. Then came the aftermath. After stopping the medication in late 2023, Claudia shared that she was suddenly dealing with constant hunger. Even after eating full meals, she still felt unsatisfied. That struggle became part of her reality and revealed the side of the trend people rarely see. Her journey captures both the appeal and the cost of Hollywood's latest obsession. The visible transformation may look impressive from the outside, but the consequences do not disappear once the weight does for many people. Cynthia Erivo's transformation became one of the most unsettling parts of the wicked press cycle because it unfolded in plain sight, event after event, photo after photo. Cynthia has always had striking features and a naturally lean frame, but recent appearances pushed that image into territory many fans described as alarming. As the promotional tour intensified, So did the conversation around how dramatically different she looked. Photos from premieres, interviews, and award season appearances showed a visibly thinner Cynthia, with sharper collarbones, a more hollowed face, and a level of gauntness that sparked widespread concern online. For many viewers, it was not just that she had lost weight, it was how quickly and severely the change seemed to register on camera. The usual language of Hollywood transformation suddenly felt less glamorous and more unsettling. That is what made the reaction feel intense. What makes Cynthia's story especially difficult is the silence surrounding it. She has not directly addressed the speculation, choosing instead to keep the focus on the film and her performance. But in celebrity culture, silence rarely quiets anything. It often makes the images speak even louder. Every close-up, every red carpet appearance, every new interview became another moment for fans to ask the same uncomfortable question. Whether her transformation came from intense professional pressure, personal strain, extreme preparation, or something else entirely, the effect has been the same. People are not simply reacting to a slimmer version of Cynthia. They are reacting to a change that feels stark, fragile, and hard to separate from the brutal expectations placed on women in Hollywood, especially during a major awards campaign. Sunny Hostin's transformation became one of the clearest examples of how intense the pressure can be for television personalities who are expected to look polished at all times. During the pandemic, Sunny gained around 40 pounds, something many people experienced while routines were disrupted and stress levels were high. But unlike most people, she had to return to national television and face millions of viewers the moment normal broadcasting resumed. That pressure clearly weighed on her. Sunny later revealed that she felt uncomfortable about how she looked on camera, and that discomfort pushed her toward Mounjaro, a medication in the same GLP-1 family that has become impossible to ignore in celebrity culture. The change happened fast enough that longtime viewers immediately noticed. Her face appeared slimmer, her cheekbones looked more pronounced, and her overall appearance shifted in a way that sparked speculation. What makes her story especially revealing is not just the transformation itself, but the silence surrounding it. Sunny mentioned the medication briefly, then moved on, offering very little detail afterward. That hesitation says a lot. Even when someone is open enough to admit using it, there is still a discomfort around explaining what comes next. Her experience reflects a larger reality inside the entertainment industry. When being on camera is part of your job, appearance can start to feel inseparable from survival. And when rapid weight loss becomes the fastest path back to confidence, the line between health, pressure, and image becomes harder to separate. For viewers, the change may look simple on the surface. But behind that polished screen presence is a far more complicated story about fear, scrutiny, and the demand to remain always camera-ready. Meghan Trainor's transformation became one of the most talked-about examples of how quickly Hollywood expects women to reclaim their image after motherhood. After welcoming her second son in 2023, Meghan faced something millions of women understand all too well: a body that does not instantly return to its pre-pregnancy version. But unlike most mothers, she had to navigate that process while living in front of cameras, fans, and an industry that rarely gives women time. When Meghan later confirmed she had used Mounjaro as part of her weight loss journey, the reaction was immediate. She explained that she had also worked with a dietitian, changed her habits, and trained consistently, but the medication still became the headline. The transformation was visible enough that fans quickly noticed a slimmer face, sharper features, and a noticeably leaner frame than they had seen before. What makes her story more layered is the tension between the woman Meghan once represented and the image she now seems pressured to maintain. She built her career on body positivity, confidence, and the idea that beauty did not belong to one size. That message helped define her public identity. So when she openly embraced pharmaceutical support to change her body, it sparked a more complicated conversation. Was this honesty, adaptation, or proof that even someone who once rejected narrow beauty standards can still be pulled back into them? That is what makes her transformation resonate beyond the surface. It is not just about weight loss. It is about the impossible expectations placed on women, especially mothers, to recover quickly, look effortless, and somehow make one of the hardest transitions in life appear easy under the lights. Alaina's transformation sparked a major conversation because, unlike so many celebrities, she did not try to hide the reason behind it. In an industry where public figures often credit vague lifestyle changes, better habits, or mysterious wellness routines, Lauren chose a more direct approach. She admitted she had used Mounjaro, and that honesty immediately set her apart from the usual Hollywood script. The physical change was obvious. Recent appearances showed a noticeably slimmer Lauren, with a leaner frame, sharper facial features, and a look that felt dramatically different from the image many fans had followed for years. For some, the transformation was inspiring. For others, it raised uncomfortable questions about what kind of message this sends, especially from someone whose audience includes young women still learning how to see themselves. What makes Lauren's story especially revealing is that she did not hide behind a health excuse or pretend it all happened naturally. She was open about wanting to lose weight, and that level of honesty exposed something deeper. It showed just how normalized these medications have become, even outside Hollywood, in places like country music where image pressure is often packaged as relatability. Her story lands differently because the transparency makes the reality harder to ignore. This was not a whispered rumor or a carefully managed guess. It was a public admission that the fastest route to change had become part of the process. And that raises a bigger question about how far the pressure to look different now reaches, even in spaces that once seemed more grounded, familiar, and emotionally connected to everyday women than ever before today. Julianne Hough's recent appearances sparked a wave of concern because this was not a case of someone making an ordinary fitness change. Julianne has always been associated with discipline, movement, and a naturally athletic frame. As a professional dancer, she built her image on strength, balance, and control. That is exactly why her visibly slimmer look stood out so sharply the moment she stepped onto major red carpets. When photos from award season began circulating, fans immediately noticed the difference. Her collarbones appeared far more pronounced, her cheeks looked noticeably hollowed, and her overall frame seemed leaner than what people had come to expect from someone already known for being extremely fit. The reaction was not just surprise, it was concern. For many viewers, the transformation felt sudden enough to raise questions that could not easily be ignored. What makes Julianne's case especially striking is the silence around it. She has not directly addressed the speculation, and that absence of explanation only intensified the conversation. In a culture where image is constantly analyzed, silence often becomes part of the story. Every carefully posed photo, every public appearance, every close-up ends up being read for clues. Her transformation also touches a deeper nerve, because Julianne has long been connected to wellness and self-care. When someone whose brand is built around health begins to look unusually thin, it creates a contradiction people notice immediately. Whether the cause is pressure, personal circumstances, or something more complicated, the result is the same. What the public sees is not just a thinner celebrity. They see a shift that feels unsettling, and that discomfort is exactly what keeps the conversation alive. These stories reveal something much bigger than celebrity weight loss. They expose a culture where looking thinner is rewarded, no matter the cost. This is not about judging anyone. It is about understanding the pressure, the risks, and the message these transformations send. Because when even the most famous faces are chasing a faster fix, one question becomes impossible to ignore. How far has Hollywood gone in the pursuit of perfection?